Jai Kali, Jai Mahadev, Jai Bharat. So today we have got an interesting guest. She's into yoga, she's into meditation, she's into Vedanta, and she's into psychology. And, she is into quite a lot of things. So, and also she loves Sanatan Dharma, and she is from United States. She is none other than Claudia, and I have invited her specially to share her experiences, and we have a lot of things that we can learn from her experiences. So I would like to welcome Claudia. Claudia ji, Jai Kali, Namaskar, welcome to my channel.
Hi, Saraji, Jay Kali. Thank you for having me.
And thank you so much for finding time for us all the way from there.
Yes.
So, Claudia, I'm gonna just dive into the questions. And my first question is, if you are supposed to, describe yourself, who is Claudia? Because my audience is seeing you for the first time on my channel, and they might have a lot of questions. They might be very curious because you look, like not like an Asian. I mean, a typical Asian, and you look from somewhere in Europe. So how come Vedanta? How come Claudia loving Sanatan Dharma? So can you please tell me from the start what Claudia is all about? Who Claudia is?
Yes. I get that question a lot from people. You know, they are curious to know where am I from, my accent, all of that, right? And I don't like dwelling too much on that because that's what, in my opinion, Sanatan Dharma is all about. Not to be over-identified with your nationality, your country, your name, your things, right? So obviously our culture influences us. So I was born in Mexico City. I live in the United States for 21 years. I have been here by choice. I've always been a freedom seeker, and that's what brought me to the United States. I'm the only one in my family to leave the niche, so to speak, to leave the family. And they were not happy about me, leaving Mexico and coming to the United States, but I can't help it. I'm a freedom seeker, and I have been since I was a child. And I think that brought me to Sanatan Dharma. It's been a long journey, but yeah, that's who I am in a nutshell.
Okay, so have you ever traveled to India?
Yes, Haraji, I have been to India several times, and I want to continue going, of course, to keep learning. I don't think I have enough time in this lifetime to learn everything about Eastern philosophy, and Sanatan Dharma is such a vast wealth of knowledge. So, yes.
That's interesting. So, Claudia, I would like to know, you must be either born in some other religion. I mean, not in Sanatan Dharma. So, what religion were you born into? And why did you choose to come out? And how did you land up, following and accepting and embracing Sanatan Dharma?
Well, I was born Catholic in Mexico. The vast majority of people are Catholic. You know that Spain conquered Mexico. Conquered is a word that I don't like, but they colonized what is Latin America and Mexico. And my parents are from Spain. My family is from Spain, northern Spain. So I get that look probably from that. But I was always kind of a rebel. I was like a rebel, always asking questions. I was always with the underdog, or the people who needed help, representation, the underprivileged. I always identify with them, and my heart was with them. And I remember when I was a little girl crying, to my mom, like, why are people suffering? Why are people poor? why do we live in a house and people are on the streets? So in Mexico, there is poverty like a lot of places in the world. So I always had weakness for those issues, right? So that's just exploring, asking questions. I ask a lot of questions. I went to a Catholic school or women run by nuns, Catholic nuns, for I think it was high school, some primary school and high school. And I asked so many questions that they felt threatened, right? Because they told me, you have to believe in what we say. You cannot be questioning, because questioning in Catholicism is considered threatening or not believing, right? So I could not understand why. I was always a philosopher, always asking questions. And even my parents didn't know how to handle me. You know, I was very difficult. I was a good girl, but difficult in terms of being a natural philosopher, right? So fast forward over the years, I knew intuitively that coming to the United States will give me the freedom, the first step to freedom, right? Because you always hear, this is the land of the free, the land of opportunity. And even when it's not 100% like that all the time, because every country has issues, here, you know, women have more freedoms, right? And when I say freedom, I don't mean in a negative connotation, like I want to do anything I want without any responsibilities, right? I mean freedom of exploring yourself, of knowing who you really are outside of the family, outside of the dogma of a religion. So that's why I told you, Saraji, that I always had Sanatan Dharma within me. When I was a child, I just didn't know it was called Sanatan Dharma. I just knew I was a freedom seeker, a spiritual seeker, a truth seeker. And it's inevitable, you know, just my path brought me to where I am now. And how did I discover Sanatan Dharma? Well, I think I started with yoga about 15 years ago.
Oh.
Just practicing yoga and meeting wonderful teacher, an American teacher, but very much from the Indian culture. You know, she married an Indian man, and she goes to India every year. She teaches yoga and retreats. So I was very lucky to have her. So that was my first experience with yoga. It was wonderful. And that took me to Ayurveda. So I went to India. I studied yoga, Ayurveda with a yoga and Ayurveda school clinic over there in India. And then I started being curious about Vedanta. I think just reading books, you know, on yoga and Vedic counseling took me to Vedanta. So I started reading about it, about Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Jiddu Krishnamurti. And I found my niche, you know, I found myself. I said, this is what I have been looking for my entire life. And it's not a religion, it's a philosophy, a way of life. So that is even more free and more liberating. And then I started really digging into what Hinduism is, you know, that it liberates people, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but right, I'm not an expert. I'm still learning, but that's what I get. So it's for me, you know, it's like, this is totally me. And I think, Saraji, that this is when past lives may come into, you know, make sense as an explanation of why some people are more inclined to evolve into different philosophies, different belief systems. In my case, is Sanatan Dharma, Hinduism, but because probably in past lives, I was destined to go through this transition in this lifetime, you know, because my soul is seeking that.